Okay, now today we're going to cover John and Helen Francis, their marriage, and children up until the end of the farm.
Okay, you're gonna. I think that the music is kind of loud. Oh, that's probably too high, isn't it, Lee? I don't know if you can see that, but it doesn't matter anyway. This is a picture of me before we got, just when I was going with John before we got married.
She doesn't have the camera on there yet.
Well, we have an awful lot of blank time here. Unless she has it turned off, I don't know.
No, it's on. Talk about that.
Okay, well, there's not much to say. We were.
So what year would this have been?
This would have been 1955, 54 probably, 54.
So you were in Chicago at the time.
We were in Chicago, and we were down at the beach.
Had you just graduated, or
Graduated from what?
college, or?
Oh, no. I was working at
What
Liberty.
did you graduate?
I graduated in 51 from college.
Okay.
And then I had the internship and came to Chicago to work. So I had been working I don't know, about 3 years, I guess, 4 years at this point. Anyway, that was just a picture that he took, down by the lake.
Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Right.
And you said you were working.
And this is a picture of John before we got married. He was, I can't remember where we were anymore.
Was he in a car?
He was in the car, and I just took a snapshot of him. Yeah, that's, I guess Lee has, that's good. This is a picture of John and I and a friend. But John was playing the guitar, and we were at a party with a group of people from Liberty Mutual where we worked.
So how did you guys meet?
Well, we actually met each other in a bar next to Liberty Mutual where we worked. And it was a Friday afternoon, and somebody said, "Oh, let's go over and get a drink after work." So I was there with a group of girls that I worked with, and he came in, and he stopped at the table, and we met each other. That was the first time I ever hadn't actually noticed him.
Because you guys worked with.
No, that's not true either, because
You met him at the softball.
I met him first at the company party, yeah, where I saw him, and I asked somebody, he was playing baseball, and he had just caught a ball or something, and I said to a fella that was sitting next to me, "What's that fella's name that just caught the ball?" And he said, he works in upstairs, and his name is John Francis. And so I said, oh. Well, then I saw him again. He was playing quoits,
What's quoits?
I
Another
just
game?
well, like horseshoes.
Oh, okay.
And I noticed him, and I thought, gee, he looks nice. Anyway, finally, we were these friends of mine and myself were leaving the party, or it was like a summer party where we were, and there was a swimming pool there, and while we were getting in the car ready to leave, he was coming out of the parking lot. And he said to us, "Oh, why are you girls leaving so soon?" or something. And so I don't know. Was one of them had decided that we should go home, and so we were all going. Anyway, as we were driving out of the place, I said to this group that I was with, "Now there's a guy I could really get interested in. I like the way he looks." But I said, he looks to me like he's probably already married and has 5 kids. So that was the end of that. Until this was on a Saturday. And then Monday morning, while I was at work, the telephone rang and somebody said, "Hey, Kramer, somebody wants to talk to you on the phone." And so I said, "Well, who is it?" And they said, "I don't know. It's some guy by the name of John Francis."
Oh wow!
So that's how he said.
Got up the nerve to call you.
Yeah, he said to me, "Hi, I saw you at the party, and would you be interested in going out to dinner?" So I was kind of flabbergasted because I really wouldn't even have known him if I hadn't asked somebody what his name was. So anyway, we went out to dinner and we had a nice time, and I don't know, that's where it all started. And then we ran into each other on a couple other occasions, and we started going together. That was it. This picture here, I don't know if Lee's got it centered on it. That was a picture of John and I when we were sort of starting to go together a little bit, and one of our friends, actually was a girl that worked in the occupational therapy department. She was getting married, so I didn't have anybody to go with. So I asked him. I said, "Would you be interested in going to this wedding?" So that's the two of us, and we were just coming out of the wedding of Marge and Don Mueller.
Smart in your little suit there.
Yeah. Oh, that's a picture of us as when we just got married, and we were coming out of the church.
Did you get married in church?
Yeah, we did. We got married. We got married, and actually we decided when we were going to get married, and then I had to find out where we could get married. So
because he was Catholic.
He was Catholic, and we were gonna get married by the Justice of the Peace. And then I said to him, I really would feel better if we got married by somebody who was, related to the churches. So I said, would it be all right if I just found a church or a minister who would marry us? So he said, fine. So I called around, and some of the only church that I could find that was not busy that Friday afternoon was a Methodist church right down in town in Chicago. And so yes, if we ever go to Chicago, I'll have to take you over to that church.
We should do that.
Anyway, the minister, when I called him, said, "Well, I'd like to meet you before I marry you." So we went over and we had a nice discussion with him, and he said to us, you're both, grown and people, so I don't want to try to interfere with your decisions. But he said, this is an religious marriage, and he said, are you really sure? Are you really sure that this is what you want? He said, he said, and so we said yes, and we talked a little bit, and he was very, very nice. And so then shortly after that, I can't remember, I think it was the next week we got married.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a time when people, really Catholics, were pretty stuck with Catholics.
Yeah, oh yeah, this was a time when it was really very, very upsetting for a Catholic to marry a Protestant, and they couldn't marry in a church.
And it did cause some problems in his family, but
it caused problems in his family because he didn't even invite him because he said he knew that they would not come. And so he didn't invite anybody to the wedding. And several of the women that I worked with who were planning on coming to the wedding found out that it was not in the interest of their religion, and their priests told them that they couldn't go because they would be condoning a marriage that was not in the best interest of the church. So actually, but several of the, in fact, John's best friend, who Maury Lorenz, who he was in the service with, was Catholic, and he came anyway. So and a couple of other people that
Who's in
I
this
worked
picture?
with.
Is this you guys at your
This
shower?
this was after we got married. We had like a little reception in the apartment that we lived in, and this is my mother right here. She came, and I wasn't going to ask her because I thought maybe she wouldn't be too thrilled with the whole idea either. But my brother said, "Hey, aren't you going to ask Mom? Because she's going to be hurt if you don't." So I said, "Well, I don't think she'll want to come." So he said, "Well, I think you should ask her." So I said, "Okay." So I called and said, "Mom, John and I are getting married, and we'd love to have you come, but it's not going to be a big affair or anything." So she said, "Well, I would love to come," and she did.
How did she get out there? Fly or?
I can't remember how she got out there. I think she probably came on the train in those days.
Yeah.
Anyway, then after the wedding, John and I we all went out to dinner, and
How many people at your wedding?
oh, I don't even remember. There weren't any more than maybe a dozen people.
And Harry and Pat were there.
And Harry and Pat were there, and yeah, it was nice. And then Mom went and stayed with Harry and Pat for a week, which was really a nice thing too. When we didn't have much of a honeymoon because John had just started a new job, and so he didn't really have any time. So we went on a long weekend, and somebody had given us the name of a resort up in Wisconsin. So we called up and said, we'd like to come up there. Well, it turned out that it was a Jewish resort, and which was no problem actually, but it was very
religious anyway.
Yeah, it didn't really matter, but we had a great time. This is our first honeymoon. However, let me see that next picture. This was we were still at the resort, and they had a golf course there. So we both liked playing golf, so that's where we went. But then we moved to Cleveland, and I guess we were married for a couple months, and I had just gotten a job, and John came home one time, and he said, "I hope you can get off because he's from work." He said, "Because I just signed us up for a trip to Mexico," and so I had to go in and ask him if I could take a couple weeks off with no pay, and which they said was okay. And John and I went on really our honeymoon. A real honeymoon, I guess.
How many years had you been married yet?
Oh no, this was only a few months after we were.
Okay.
Oh, maybe 6 months after we were married, and so we went down. We flew down to the Yucatan. And in those days, people didn't really visit the Yucatan too much. It was there were a lot of studies being done down there on the Mayan religion and so forth. And we went to a town called Merida in the Yucatan, and then we visited a lot of the Chichen Itza, and I can't remember.
Did you go to Tulum?
No, not then. We didn't go to Tulum until later, many years later, when we actually went to Cancun, because Cancun at that time was not at all developed.
Yeah.
That was just a sort of a little fishing community.
Yeah.
And it was how many years later was it that when we went down? When we went to you?
Late 80s, 88
Hey, you
maybe?
were the ones that got him to go down.
Yeah.
Like in the late 80s. I think we bought something when we were on our honeymoon in 86. And
Yeah, so it was from the time that we got married in 1955, when it wasn't developed at all.
So like 30 years, I would say.
30 years later that we went down with you, and they were really beginning to develop
Yeah, the whole area had
the
just
whole
become a destination,
yeah,
basically.
mecca for
So
tourists.
this says Argentina on it. Were you in Argentina too?
No, but this picture is when we went down the first time, and we started in the Yucatan and went to all the sites in Yucatan. Then we took a bus. In those days, there were no trains that ran there, and it was very hard, actually. The only way was either by bus to get in and out of there, or by flying in. And anyway, we went all across Mexico, and we went to what was that, Pueblo, and then we went to Veracruz. That was right on the Gulf there, on the east side of Mexico, and then we went to a whole bunch of little towns. We just took a bus and rambled around. And then we finally wound up in Mexico City, and we stayed in Mexico City for several days. And then we took a bus and went down, headed out towards the western part of Mexico, and we went to Tacos, and we went to let me see. We went to Acapulco. We finally wound up in Acapulco, and we went on a fishing tour. The two of us. We found a fisherman who had a small boat, and he charged about half of what the bigger boats were charging, and we caught these fish while we were out there. It was quite an eventful day.
What are they, swordfish or something?
Yeah, those were swordfish. In those days, you know, that was a dolphin, small. You know, the kind that I think I actually eat those kind. But anyway, it wasn't like a dolphin, the kind that everybody loves.
Right, a porpoise or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we stayed in Mexico. We stayed in Acapulco for about 4 or 5 days. It was great, and then we flew home from Acapulco and flew back to the States. It was a great vacation, or a great honeymoon.
So you were in Cleveland, but then you ended up back in Chicago, right?
Yeah, well, we came back, and we were in. I guess we were in Cleveland for a couple years, actually, but wasn't very long after we came back from Acapulco that I found out that I was pregnant, and the job that I had there was in the occupational therapy department in one of the hospitals, and it specialized in people with what is that?
PTSD.
Huh?
PTSD?
No. Oh gosh. You know
What is the affliction? What happens?
where you get paralyzed.
Oh, quadriplegics or whatever?
No. Oh, what is it? Turn it off.
Lou Gehrig's disease?
No. It's
Where you get, it doesn't matter.
Turn it off.
No, it doesn't matter.
I can't remember. It's a childhood disease where you
Oh, polio.
polio, and that was just about the time that they found a salt vaccine, and they had so the new cases of polio were diminishing rapidly, but where we worked were the ones that had just contacted the disease before they had the
So you still had to
virus.
rehab 'em.
Yeah, Anyway,
Who was Dad working for in Cleveland?
he was working for a company that I don't even remember the name of it, but they had something to do with scales. But anyway, he was not exactly happy with the job, and the fellow that owned the company was selling it out to Toledo, scale company, big company, and so he wasn't really happy. John wasn't happy with going and working for this company, so he spoke to this friend of his, again, Maury Lorenz, and Maury said, well, I think there's some jobs out here. Why don't you come out here and I'll see about it. So he went out and he visited the company, and he took a job there. And so when we moved, and he took the new job, we went out to the Chicago area and settled in a place called Elmhurst.
And this is the house.
Elmhurst, which is a town sort
It's
of
a
west of Chicago. And this is the house we bought when we first went there, and we couldn't get in it for a little over a month because the people that lived there hadn't settled on where they were going. So we went and lived with an older couple down the street, and at that time they gave us a room and said we could fix our breakfast there, and they charged us $15 a week. If you can believe that.
That's pretty unusual.
Yes.
That would even happen.
Yeah, well, show us that picture there, because
Which one?
I think it was a picture. Well, no, I guess it was.
Dad?
That's all right.
Of Dad?
Yeah, of John. Yeah, it was a picture that I think he had taken when he applied for the job there. But I'm not even sure about that. Whether it was one of the jobs that he
How old
applied
would he be
for.
in that picture?
I can't.
So he was 30. Well, how old were you when you got married? 26.
I was 26. He was 30. Yeah.
30. Okay.
So he would have been only this must have been another time, because he would have been like only 32, 33 at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a picture of Nana Francis and Pa Francis, and Nana's holding Ann. So this is right after Ann was born, and they came
What year
out.
was that?
They came out. It was the only time that Pa ever left Massachusetts, I think.
This would have been in 1957.
This would have been 50. Yeah, because I think Anne was born in 1957.
I think you gotta stop messing with that.
Anyway, they had.
What's the building in the background?
I can't remember. I think it was where they were coming or they were leaving. You know, they came out by train.
I see.
This is big. When we decided we were going to move out to Chicago, we bought this little dog, and he was a puppy when we bought him. But here he's a little. He looks like he's probably pretty grown up at this point.
What's his name?
That's oh God, I can't even remember his name.
That not Duke?
No, Dookie was my dog when I was a kid.
He looks like a Springer Spaniel.
George. His name was George. We named him after King George because he was an English setter.
Oh, English setter. Okay.
And the two of them were sitting on the and he used to sit on John's lap until all the kids came, and then he couldn't sit on John's lap anymore. So, but it was such a comical look on their faces that I couldn't resist taking their picture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a picture of a Marblehead, and I'm sitting here, and then here's Nana Francis, and this is Auntie Ann, which she was a sister to Nana, and she lived in Boston, and she used to come out on weekends.
Looks like you're at Devereux in front of the pavilion.
Yeah, we that's exactly where we were. Yeah.
There should be another building there, like a house or something.
I think there was some kind of a building there, but that was torn down in the meantime.
So that would have been in the late 50s because you're pregnant, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly at what point. this was a picture of, this is Lee, and
Anne is there.
this is Anne.
And I think the baby is me, and Nana Francis is holding me
Where,
right here.
yes,
Nana Francis. And then there's Mike.
Mike,
Cynthia,
Cindy, and this
Peter.
this is Peter. Peter died. He was a cousin of all these kids, and he was Joe Hen's son,
Oldest.
and he was a great hockey player even when he was really young, and he was about 14 or 15 when he hit the boards, and in those days they didn't wear helmets or any kind of guards, and he went into the boards on the side of the skating rink and really damaged his head severely. He never recovered from that, and for quite a long period of time he had these terrible headaches. And finally they took him to the doctor, and he had to go in for an operation, and he died as a result of the operation. And he was only 15 years old.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
And who's on Peter's lap? Is that Margot?
Oh, must be.
Where?
Yeah, right there, the little baby. Right there.
Really?
And Margot.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
That's a sad little story.
It is.
sure.
It is a sad story because he was such a nice kid.
Okay, I think, is this in Elmhurst, Mom?
This is our backyard in Elmhurst. John had fenced in a pretty large area in the back for the kids, and so they could wander in and out of the house, which they did sometimes without me knowing it, and they wouldn't be able to stray off too far. He made this board in the background here is a slide that he made for them out of a big sheet of plywood or something, and he polished it up, so two of them could go down at once, and all the neighbors used to come and
And it looks
play.
like they're in a sandbox.
Yeah, they're in a sandbox that John built,
And that's Lance, right?
and that's Lance. That's our German Shepherd dog, because George, the English setter, was stolen several times, and each time he'd come home, he would have like some scars around his neck where they had tied him up, and so finally he was a dog that loved to run, this English setter. So finally he got out and ran away the last time, and that time somebody caught him and he never came back. And so we had a friend who had this German Shepherd dog, and he was scaring the whole neighborhood, and he had to get rid of him. So they asked us if we would be interested in having him. So we took him, and he was the most faithful and the smartest dog, I guess, that we ever owned. He attached himself to the kids, especially Anne, because Anne was a year old when he came, and so was he. And he followed her around everywhere, and got her into trouble, and also got her out of trouble several times, you know.
Cute.
Yeah. But this is a picture of Lee. These I don't know where Meg was at this point, because I don't think that Lee could have been more than maybe what? She must have been, what would you say? Maybe 2 at that point?
1.5.
Yeah,
So
1.5, 2. So Meg was probably born, but she was probably too young to be out playing in the sandbox.
This actually is a little out of order. Whoops. But,
This is out of order?
well, I think Lee and Ann are a little younger in this picture.
Oh yeah, Anne and Ray. Well, they might have been, yeah. They were probably a little younger than the one before that. But it was in the winter, and everybody was dressed up in their winter clothes, and there was ice and snow around. And I think John was sitting with them on a sled. And I think we'd been pulling him around in this sled, and so John just sat down with him, and I took their picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were.
I think Amy arrives here.
Oh, yeah, here's a picture of all four of them. Amy had just arrived not too many months before. And here's Meg sucking her thumb. Mm-hmm. Here's Anne holding Amy.
No,
I think
that's
that's
me.
Lee.
Oh, that's Lee holding Amy. And here's Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's in Elmhurst, right?
That's in Elmhurst, yeah.
This is
This
probably
is
around the same time.
this is right around the same time. I think it was probably a little bit later because Amy looks a little bit older here than she did in the last one. Here's Anne, Amy, Meg, and Lee.
So this would have been around probably 63-ish. Is she even a year? 62? She was born in 62.
I don't know.
She looks pretty little.
Yeah,
So probably 62.
This was in Elmhurst, and she was only 6 months old when we left there, so she had to have been just So anyway, this was the house that
we left Elmhurst.
We left Elmhurst when Amy was only 6 months old. I remember that, and then we moved first we moved to New Jersey. And but we went to a house that was less than desirable, and you couldn't heat the place, and we were all sick that year. My goodness, we had such a terrible time. We went at that. The story that I remember was that we were all sick, and we went. John came home because he was doing a lot of traveling at the time, and this is when he had changed jobs. That's right. He changed jobs, and we moved east again. So he was doing a lot of traveling on his job, and he came home one night, and we were all sick, all of us. So he said. So we decided we called the doctor, and he said, "Come on over." So we went over there, and a couple of the kids had pink eye. Everybody had chicken pox except for Lee. She did not have chicken pox. She had scarlet fever, and so everybody got medicine of one kind or another, and everybody had colds, and when the doctor got done looking at all the kids, he looked at me and he said, "You don't look very good either." And so he gave me some medicine because I was also having problems of one kind or another with the cold, or I can't even remember what. In the meantime, John was the only healthy one, but it was a day or so after that he caught pink eye from the kids. So we went home, and while they told us that Lee could not walk at all, she had to be kept in bed for, I think, like a week or two, because it could lead to a serious condition. So the kids all had chicken pox except for her. So I used to put them in the tub together with oatmeal and all kinds of stuff to keep them from scratching. And it was a bad year. But anyway, somehow or another, we decided that we didn't want to live in that house anymore. So we started.
Did you rent it?
We rented that house, yeah. So we decided we were going to go and start looking for houses, and we came upon, in Pennsylvania, we came upon this house, which was a beautiful, beautiful big stone house. The original part of the house was built in 1723. and
This section in here.
it
right?
was of course this porch was not on it. It was just a one-room house with a huge big fireplace, no upstairs at all, and everybody lived in it like that. I don't know how they managed, but it was this big fireplace
This
with
was this was on a farm that had been developed when you got there, right?
Well, when we got there, this house was the original house for the farm, and they were in the process of breaking up all the lots. They had broken up all the lots, and they were in a process of building houses all around us. This house was on 1.25 acres, and we had it in the. It had been added on to many times, and this section here was built in 1800, and it had a fireplace at each end of the living room, and a door here in the middle, and then it had a little winding stairway that went up to a bedroom and a bath up here, and then
And a fireplace up there.
and a fireplace in the bedroom, right? And then if you went in this direction, in this section here, there was a bedroom and a bath
With a trap door.
with it. Well,
Remember the trap door that used to come up from the dining room right into that room?
No, I don't remember.
no, that wasn't a trap door. Now you're talking about there was a trap door and a big seat in that room.
Oh, there was a window seat.
Yeah, big window seat and a big trap.
Somebody told me it was a trap door.
Anyway, then above this area was another attic area where Anne and Lee slept, and Amy and Meg had this room, and John and I had this one. But it was just a fantastic house. And at somewhere along the line, this porch was added on. So this was,
And I think another interesting thing about that house was there was so many, like there was blueberry bushes and a cherry tree and gooseberries
Oh, so
and
apple
apple tree.
yeah, an
And
apple
there was
orchard.
a row of pine trees, and there was a spring house with a spring cellar, and there was a creek in the backyard and a pond in the back, and a stone bridge on
A
the
good
property.
sledding hill.
Yeah, in fact, there was a picture here
So much,
of
just
them
one
in the,
property.
no, there was, that one.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it. I'll show
Okay.
you.
But yeah, we loved this house. We just loved
It
that
was
house.
in Holland, Pennsylvania. And you moved there what year?
We lived there. We moved there when
Amy was like
Amy was
63.
about a year old, almost a year old,
63.
and it was shortly after that I don't know, somebody came to the house and asked us if we wanted to have pictures taken, and so somebody took these pictures of the kids, and this is Anne, Lee, Meg, and Amy. And Amy's about a year old, and I guess Anne was probably about 6. This is a picture of all of them looking up the chimney for Santa Claus to see if he was going to drop down for Christmas. This was just
That was in the dining room,
this-
family room area of that house.
right. And of course,
There was actually like a little baking oven in that.
there was a there had been a baking oven in this fireplace, and here was a drawer actually in the stone wall under the window.
Big deep windows.
Yeah, the walls of that house were 24 inches thick, and it was. Then the other part of the house at the end was relatively new actually,
bring it back up again?
and it was where they had the kitchen. They
I don't know if you can see it there, but it's
no, well I don't know, but anyway, this is several years later. I can't see. Oh, here's Amy, and Lee, and Anne, and Meg, and
that same house in the background.
and here's Lance. He's getting pretty old here at this point. because of course he was same age as Anne, and I think Anne was probably about 10 or 11 at that point. So Lancer was getting pretty old. This is the pond that we had out in the backyard in that house, and the kids had a little rowboat, and they were trying to row around
The Titanic. It was called.
yeah, they called the boat the Titanic, and this was Lee and Anne.
No, it's Meg and Amy.
And Amy.
Lee and this is Amy?
No, that's
Meg.
me. Lee, Meg, Amy.
Oh, okay. I can't see that well, tell the truth.
It is pretty small. And then this is Anne here.
This is Anne. It was this was in a tree. She made a tree house up in a tree that hung over this pond in that same house.
She was a bit of a tomboy, wasn't she?
She was always climbing trees, and she was really into the horse bit. Yeah.
Favorite picture.
This is a picture of John, and here's the pond behind him.
A dam. He built a dam back there, right?
Well, he didn't build it. It was there.
Oh. I thought he redid it or something with all the concrete. I remember him doing
I think he did some repairs on it, you know. But,
So, how old would he have been there?
well, let me
if Anne was
see.
10 or
Around
something.
41, 42.
He probably would have been, yeah. He would have probably been, you know, in his early 40s
He used
somewhere.
to play, I remember he used to play the horseshoes back there. He had his own little horseshoe thing set up in the back, and we had a big jungle gym. And remember
Right.
that?
Oh,
We
yeah.
used to catch fireflies in that field back there. So this is moving into like the Marblehead.
Oh, this is the marble head scene again, right? This is Meg. Maybe you better point him out because I can't
Okay,
see him
that's-
that well.
Me, Lee, Cynthia, Mike, and Amy. Amy and Mike were always like inseparable.
Yeah, they kind of hung out together. Although Mike was a lot older than Amy. He was
we're at
Mike and Ann were the same age.
So we're at Devereaux there, but we're pretty little. I don't know where Ann is.
Yeah.
So this is years later, but it's up in Marblehead.
Oh, yeah. Our house was across the street from this house, and Aunt
Well, at
Nanny.
that time it wasn't it Nana's?
Aunt
Well,
Nanny,
yeah,
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
Nana's
we're all standing, I don't know, our group is standing here on the porch. And
Nana lived across
but
the street.
Aunt Nanny lived across the street.
From Nana.
Yeah, from where we were.
From Nana.
Nana.
It was Nana's house at the time.
Now who is in that picture? There's Nanny.
It's Dad.
Use a stick because we can't
Hold on,
really see
I
it.
can't see it either. Okay, it's okay. Nanny, Margot, me, Dad. Let me look again.
Is that Mom staying there on the porch?
Let me see. Yeah, that's Mom, and I don't know who's sitting down over there, but Collage is in the front too. That person standing there is Mom, and then that is Collage, the dog that used to run away all the time. Do you remember? And Nanny always used to park right out in front of her house.
Right.
So that's that. It's hard to see. And then this is in Nanny's backyard. She always had
Yeah,
like
you
a
can
little gathering.
put that one up too. Yeah, Nanny always had little picnics in the backyard, and the whole family would come, and we'd have and Uncle Richie would always
Barbecue.
You know, he had the grill, and he'd do all the cooking.
So if you can show like that's Rita, point to Rita.
This is Rita.
And then Uncle Joe was Dad's brother.
Yeah, there he is.
And then was that Irene?
I
Let me see.
don't know, but here's a picture of
Better if you don't keep picking it up.
I know, but I can't see it, Lee. It's Irene
Irene
and Nanny. And that's Nanny and Mom. I don't know if you're a Grace.
yeah, those pictures are pretty dark. You can't really see them too well, don't you?
Okay, leave it here a moment, please. Okay.
This is a picture of Nana at the beach. She was, she never minded a bit that the water was anywhere from 66 to 70 degrees. And it always amazed me how she could just walk into the water like she was walking into bath temperature water, and look like she was perfectly comfortable with it.
Okay, where's we're here?
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, how old would she have been there?
Oh golly, I never did really know what her age was, because this may have been what, maybe maybe 10 or 15 years
70s?
before she died. So
Yeah, so she died at 86, so probably 75.
no, she died older. Yeah, well, I think she was more like 90 when she died.
Okay, so maybe this was the early 80s?
Yeah, somewhere around in there. I don't.
Okay, that's...
She never.
We're going to conclude at this point and take a break and come back and start at the farm in New Tripoli, Pennsylvania.